Hello, I'm Andrew Pritchard. Thank you for watching today's Corn Belt Regional Forecast, brought to you by Nutrien Ag Solutions. Well, as the sun rises on this Friday morning, we see illuminated our powerful storm system that has just wreaked havoc across parts of the central United States over the last 48 hours in the form of a blizzard across the northern plains and the upper Midwest, and in the form of some additional showers and thunderstorms along that cold front as it moves towards the east. We can take a look at the radar picture here on Friday morning, and we can see that precipitation falling underneath those clouds with that cold front tracking through the eastern Corn Belt with the heavy snow falling across parts of the upper Midwest. And this will continue to move on out of the area as we head through the rest of the day today. Total snowfall, this just gets us through Thursday, so Friday snow not included in here. But where you see the yellow shading, that was 6+ inches of snow that fell from this storm system. And when you get into parts of South Dakota and northern Nebraska, here we're talking about anywhere from 12 to 18 inches of snow here across parts of northern South Dakota. And of course, we will begin to fill in that area across Minnesota, northern Minnesota here, across this area as we head through the rest of the day on Friday. Total liquid precipitation, this gets us through 8 o'clock on Friday morning. You can see the storm system really was kind of top-loaded. When we talk about moisture here, most of that came in the form of, some heavy snow across the northern plains, parts of the central plains, and the upper Midwest. Now, along the cold front down there, we didn't really see that light up until we got into parts of central and eastern Illinois into Indiana, where we really just lacked the warm sector moisture here. So instead of seeing thunderstorms develop across parts of Kansas and move off towards the east on Wednesday, we just really didn't see any of that until, again, we got into parts of central Illinois and Indiana. Total snowfall just getting us in through the day on Saturday. So looking at the additional snowfall expected from this storm system across the upper Midwest, really just talking about anywhere from 1 to 4 inches, with the heaviest snow falling across parts of northern Minnesota as we get through the next 24 to 36 hours. And then here's that severe weather threat across mainly parts of Ohio, maybe northern Kentucky getting in on that. And again, that's that cold front as it moves off to the east through the rest of the day. We can look at the high resolution rapid refresh model, and that'll show it here. We'll loop this out. Watch the cold front here as it gets into Ohio. We see just the chance of maybe some scattered strong storms developing midday, but this really clears out by the time we get to late afternoon into the evening, so a quiet end to the day for you in Ohio. You can see there, even as we get into 10 o'clock on Friday night, still seeing maybe some light snow falling across parts of the Dakotas, parts of Minnesota, and parts of Wisconsin, but the heaviest of the snowfall moving out by this point. Current temperatures at 8:45 on Friday morning. You can almost draw that storm system back in here. We see the warm air in advance of that, the cold air swooping in on the backside, and there you've got your counterclockwise flow in the atmosphere here that would signify that powerful storm system, and that is bringing in some colder air. We will be cooling off across parts of the northern plains, the central plains, and the Midwest. We can loop temperatures out all the way through Sunday morning. You'll see a couple things. First, you'll watch that first low pressure system move off to the northeast. That cold front continuing to bring cooler air off towards the east and usher in that cooler air mass here across parts of the central U.S. As we start the weekend. The other thing you're going to notice is our next storm system developing off to the south across the southern plains, beginning to lift into the Ohio River Valley as we get into late Saturday into Sunday. So let's go ahead and play this out. There you see it, Saturday night into Sunday morning now. This freezes on Sunday morning. We've got the low pressure center kind of pegged right over the Ohio River here, maybe where the Ohio River and the Mississippi River meet. And then you've got your warm front extending off to the east, and that cold front. This is where we expect those strong thunderstorms to develop as we get into the day on Sunday. We'll talk about that here coming up next. We'll loop the precipitation type forecast again through Sunday morning. And again, I'm going to point out the same two things. Your first storm system lifting off to the northeast, bringing precipitation to an end. And then it's as we get into Saturday, late in the day, moving into Sunday morning, we see that next area of low pressure begin to develop. And that's going to bring a big area of rain and thunderstorms to an area where, again, we just don't want it. So let's let this play out. Here we go, Friday night, getting into Saturday morning, Saturday evening, and now Sunday morning. There you see that big storm system tracking again through the Ohio River Valley. If we live in parts of, let me go ahead and take these drawings off to clean my palette or clean the slate. Jumping back here once more. All right, let's play the loop once again. And I just want to kind of highlight a couple of things as this ends on Sunday morning. Now, if you're living across parts of central Missouri, getting into northwest Illinois, unfortunately, maybe seeing some snowflakes mix in there. If you end up with any accumulation, it's going to be a heavy cement-like snow that really melts pretty quickly, so we're not talking about any significant accumulation here, but basically this entire area really across parts of, again, Missouri, the northern half of Illinois. If you're in central Illinois, Sunday is just going to be about a miserable day as we've got cold air coming in on the backside of this. It's going to be a cold, wet, rainy day for parts of the mid-Mississippi Valley, parts of the Midwest here across Illinois, Indiana, or Illinois, Iowa, and Missouri. Now, in the warm sector, across parts of Indiana, Kentucky, Tennessee, where we see that cold front moving through the area, that's where we're going to be talking about the threat for some significant thunderstorms, maybe a severe weather outbreak. Included within that could be several tornadoes as well. So let's go ahead and talk about why this storm system poses a much more significant severe weather risk than the Wednesday-Thursday storm system did. If you saw our forecast, we talked about maybe the chance of some severe weather across Kansas on Wednesday, maybe the chance of some severe weather across Illinois and Indiana on Thursday. But we mentioned that the moisture would be an issue here, and without the adequate moisture there, that leaves us lacking when we talk about instability, which is what fuels sustained, long-lived, organized severe thunderstorms. You need the wind shear, which you get with the powerful storm system, but you also need the instability, and that's the warm, muggy air mass that we bring in advance of that storm system ahead of the cold front. And we didn't see that Wednesday and Thursday. It was beautiful. It was warm across the parts of the Midwest. When you're talking about Kansas, Missouri, Illinois, and Indiana, we hit the mid 70s, but the mugginess was not there. Now, as this cold front moves through the area Friday and Saturday, it's not going to clear the Gulf of Mexico as that front early in the week did that left us kind of moisture starved. So instead, when this next storm system develops across the southern plains, we quickly begin ushering in that humid air mass from the Gulf of Mexico. Let me just play this. This is dew points now as we get through the early part Saturday. Look at that. Now getting into Sunday, really bringing in a warm and humid air mass to this area, and that's why we have to talk about the risk of some strong to severe storms. The risk on Saturday going to be off to the south. This is the day 2 severe weather outlook from the Storm Prediction Center, highlighting a moderate risk across parts of Louisiana, Arkansas, Mississippi, parts of eastern Texas. That's where we expect, the potential again being set for a tornado outbreak across parts of the south. But when we look ahead to Sunday, here's the day 3 outlook. This is Sunday from the Storm Prediction Center. You see that slight risk, the yellow area extending into parts of central Indiana, central Ohio, and south from there. And then also seeing an enhanced risk where you see the orange shading, where we're expecting maybe a slightly more significant potential for widespread severe weather. So if you live in this area, again, parts of Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky, and Tennessee, really this area, when we talk about the Corn Belt, really be weather aware on Sunday as we watch the potential for some severe thunderstorms moving through the area and the potential for some tornadoes along with that. Now, why is this happening? Well, the jet stream continues to be very dynamic and very active. We continue to see the development of these troughs, that U shape, over and over as it progresses across the United States. We can play this out pretty quickly. You're going to see this first trough move off to the east. We see the next one develop across the southern plains, lifting off to the northeast. And then another storm system across the western U.S. here as we get into the early part of next week. It becomes a little bit more clear when we kind of just flip over and look at precipitation type from the European model. Again, 3 things to watch. The first storm system lifts off to the northeast. On Saturday and Sunday, we develop a new low pressure center and lift that off to the northeast through the Ohio River Valley. And then as we head into the middle part of next week, Wednesday and Thursday, another storm system sneaks in from the western U.S., moving into the Midwest again. So here we go. There you see all 3 as we end this loop, getting us all the way to noon on Thursday. So let me go ahead and pause, and we'll go through time so it makes a little bit more sense with the timing here. Finishing out the day on Friday, getting into Saturday morning, there that low moves off across the upper Midwest. Snow finally comes to an end by the time we wake up on Saturday. On Saturday evening, that's when we're watching the potential for that severe weather outbreak across the southern U.S., Louisiana, and Arkansas. As we head into Sunday morning, that low moves off to the Ohio River Valley. Now we're talking about the potential for severe thunderstorms across parts of Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky, and Tennessee. That's Sunday afternoon and Sunday evening. Now this begins to lift off towards the off to the northeast. And then we're quiet to start out next week, except for maybe some light precipitation across the upper Midwest here, maybe on Tuesday. But as we get into Wednesday and Thursday, that's when we see the development of this next more organized storm system as it tracks through the central U.S. We'll leave the details on this one for next week. We'll have updates for you Monday and Tuesday, so no sense in getting too specific, but this is another look that just in general brings a lot of rain to an area we don't need it, but has another look of a storm system that could produce some severe weather, again, across parts of the lower and mid-Mississippi Valley. So an active pattern bringing a lot of rainfall to the area and bringing frequent chances for maybe some significant thunderstorms. Last thing about the precipitation, we'll time out total amounts here, just getting us through the rest of the day Friday. You see that light snow across the upper Midwest, those showers and thunderstorms across parts of the eastern Corn Belt. As we take this through Monday, so now we're including that storm system on Saturday and Sunday that swoops through the area, bringing another dose of heavy rainfall to, again, parts of the eastern Corn Belt, generally talking about Missouri, Illinois, and eastward from there. And then we jump ahead, we're looking at the entire next week. So not only do we have the leftover precipitation from this storm system in these areas, we're also including that storm track Saturday and Sunday, but now we're also looking at the storm system that could track through the area Wednesday and Thursday of next week. So there you see the story. Again, just if we're talking about any kind of problems this spring, it looks like we'll be talking about flooding, the potential for delayed planting in some of these areas where we're just trying to find a dry window and coming up a little bit short. And there we've got soil moisture anomaly. This is looking as of yesterday, and obviously just, saturated soils across the upper Midwest, saturated soils across the Mid-South. All of the moisture up here, of course, going to be running off into the Mississippi River and then funneling down into this area as well. So kind of a widespread area dealing with that potential for some flooding as we head into the spring. Temperatures, just to finish off, we'll look at the high temperature forecast as we head through the rest of the week. I will step through slowly here because I'm sure you didn't catch that. High temperatures on Friday, we're starting to see that colder air coming into the central United States. It really begins to settle in on Saturday, those high temperatures in the 30s and the 40s across parts of the Dakotas and Minnesota. The high temperatures on Sunday now, looking at 40s and again, maybe some 30s here, especially where we've got that heavy snowpack. We're going to be feeling that chill for the next few days. You can see that warm air feeding up from the south in advance of our Sunday storm system here across parts of the eastern Corn Belt. And then as we get into Monday, starting to return that warmth, we bring high pressure in, really looking beautiful across a big portion of the Corn Belt. Again, talking about cooler temperatures as we melt the snow across the northern plains and the parts of Minnesota and Wisconsin. But here we go, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we're starting to cool back off. Remember, we've got another storm system in this area, probably going to be dealing with some cloud cover and some rain across this area. Low temperatures just quickly here before we end things. Obviously, you probably want to, you'll be dealing with some low temperatures here, a bit chilly to start off the weekend, just because we'll be talking about some snow on the ground and a colder air mass moving in. So low temperatures on Sunday morning, getting down to the teens across parts of the Central Plains. The Northern Plains there, the 20s elsewhere. And then we get into Monday morning, looking at those teens spreading into parts of the Southern Plains. Let me jump back for you. Here we go. Where's my little slider bar? Oh gosh, I've gone and lost it. I apologize for that, but I kind of painted the picture for you there. Just definitely looking at some cooler temperatures in this area, especially where we've got the fresh snowpack, but as we deal with the cooler air mass moving in on the backside of that. But it's an active and it's a volatile pattern, so just as quickly as that colder air comes in, we'll begin returning that warmth behind each storm system as well. So by the time we get to early next week, a big part of the Corn Belt going to be enjoying a nice warm-up. Now, if you haven't done so already, visit my.nutrienagsolutions.com, set up a free account there with your username, which would be an email address and a password. That'll get you access to the Weather Story platform, which is undergoing a lot of changes this spring as we continue to push out new content. So you don't want to miss out as we head into the spring growing season. Be following along with Eric and I as we post new content every day. As always, Eric Snodgrass will have an in-depth look at the evolution of the next 1 to 2 weeks in our Monday morning ag forecast video. And I'll have your next Corn Belt regional forecast for you right here on Tuesday morning. Have a great day and have a great weekend.